Hi, I'm so happy you're here. So, 2024 has been a year alike and unlike every other year. So, I think it's about time we debrief. So, welcome back to the It's a Girl Thing podcast. I'm Kate, and, well, I feel like I should recite my mantra, but I don't know, this episode feels different. So, hi, I'm Kate. I'm a 19-year-old girl from New Zealand, and I'm really just taking life head on, one day at a time, and you're doing it with me. I thought, to summarize this year, I thought it would be wonderful for me to have some hot cocoa here with me to not only celebrate our own successes, but the mishaps and successes of the lovely girls who have all sent in Cocoa Confessions throughout the year. Firstly, just a brief about Cocoa Confessions. It will be back as of February 2025. So start filling back out the form. Same links all in my bios everywhere. You should be able to find it. If not, send me a message and I'll send it to you. Wow. Sorry, I feel like my microphone I need to sit closer, but let's see. There we are. So where do I even start with 2024? I feel like maybe let's try and debrief month by month. So firstly, let's start by saying that at the beginning of 2024, my anxiety was probably about a level 100. But if you ask me where my anxiety sits now, I'd tell you it's actually sitting probably around a level 30, which to me is crazy. It's something that for the last few years has truly been a struggle of mine and something that I have fought tooth and nail to just survive and to go about normal things without feeling anxious about them. So for me, this has been a win this year, and I don't even quite know what's done it, but I think hopefully maybe throughout our debrief we will work out maybe what. So I hope there's some little life lessons in here for you along the way as I share what I've learned, what I've done, and where I'm heading next. So January of 2024 wasn't too exciting for me in all honesty. I had my summer break, which we have here in New Zealand after graduating high school. Oh, there was just lightning. Iconic. Sorry, there's a little bit of a thunderstorm going on outside, but I thought what better time to debrief when there's not really anything else I can do. But I'd just graduated high school, so early January 2024, my best friend at the time and I had a girls' trip to one of our major cities. That was such a good trip. Sorry, ignore the thunder if you can hear it. It was such a good trip. And lots of shopping got done. And I think that was quite a nice challenge and gave me the independence of having a trip that I had done for the first time by myself. Well, not by myself, but with a friend. So that was good in itself. I loved that trip. And I'd definitely do another one. In February, I moved away from home. And I think truly that's one of the most rewarding and terrifying things I have ever done. If anybody ever asks you or tells you that moving away from the people and the life you've always known isn't terrifying and isn't hard, then send them my way because I found it awful. I cried for days before I left. And then I kind of just moved. And I don't know if it was actually the lead up that made it so bad. I think I spent too much time in my own head overthinking it. But once I was actually there, it fully changed my perspective. I got the chance to live independently. I had nobody trying to chase me up on the things I didn't do. I had to cook for myself. I had to clean for myself. And it taught me a lot. It also was a huge part of both an anxiety builder in the beginning and then an anxiety reducer because, well, nobody else was going to do the things that my anxiety stopped me from doing. So if I wanted them done or if they needed to be done, I had to do it. I feel like that was the biggest part about February. I feel like in January, I recorded a whole bunch of episodes with guests. Maybe that was February, because I know I did that while I was still at home. But that has been one of the coolest experiences about the podcast this year, as I have talked to some amazing people throughout the world, throughout New Zealand, Australia, a couple in the US, and it's been a blessing to have this small platform where I can connect you, my lovely, lovely girls, with people who have similar and different experiences to you, so that you know you're not alone. And on the topic of the podcast, I know I've been so inconsistent recently. And I was having a think about it as I drove home before I decided I was going to record this. And I realized that actually most of the podcasts, big podcasts we listen to, are people who do social media, podcasting, content creation as their full-time job. That is not what I do. I am a uni student who is just trying to get by, who works part-time jobs, who lives at home when she's not at uni. This is just what I do because I'm passionate about it, and sometimes that has to slip by the wayside, and I'm sorry when it does, because I don't love you any less, and I don't value our chats, and I don't value anything we do any less when I am inconsistent. It's just one of those unfortunate things about life, and I guess in a weird way that's part of this. This is part about the realness of my life I'm sharing. I'm a very imperfect person. I have flaws and I struggle and I run away from myself and other people and I take breaks when I shouldn't. And it's all part of learning, and I'm sorry. I am sorry. But I'm so thankful for those of you who still tune in and still listen, even if it's just every other week, once or twice a month, whatever it ends up being. March was a good one. I'd really kind of got into the swing of uni and study, and I'd made some really good friends who I am so excited to go back to this coming year and get to live with again. I feel like I'm losing track. So much and so little happened this year. I'm just trying to think about March as a whole. And maybe I should have written notes, but I decided last minute I was going to record this for us. Considering that, 2025's in 2 days? A day and a half? 2 sleeps. I like counting things in sleeps. It's like when Christmas. Because a full day, it's not always a full day. It's often just like a sleep. Anyway, sidetracked. I feel like March, April, and May, and like June, all of that right in the middle was just winter. That was just me getting by, me building habits, going to the gym, studying, learning, doing a lot of tests. There were a lot of tests in April. That taught me that I need to study more. And I study a little bit. I think going into my course, I didn't quite understand how much studying was required and the discipline that it was going to take. I think that's probably been my biggest struggle throughout this whole year, has been discipline. And I think it's something a lot of people struggle with. That consistency, that forcing yourself to keep going when you don't want to do it, because you know you'll reap the rewards. And I think technology, in a way, has also made us lazy. And in that time, I found it so easy to turn to my phone, TV, Netflix, and waste away the time instead of doing the things that actually were going to benefit me in the long term. In July, we had 2 of my friends' birthdays, so I had the fun of shopping and getting some lovely little presents for them. And one of my friends now and I now have matching little Olivia Jean handbags, which is gorgeous. And I love them, and hey, I love that it's washable. That's my favorite thing. So I don't usually and I'm umming. I'm trying to think about the year. Oh, July was awesome. I had my best friend from home. I had her come down, not my new best friend. She's been one of my best friends for a while, but this is where it gets confusing. Do adults say we have best friends and the best friend and because I feel like I have a little hierarchy in my head. There's the best friend. Then you've got usually a best friend, other best friend or best friends. And then you have your close friends, and then you have your acquaintances. Well, the best friend, the top one, and I had a huge falling out. Well, not huge falling out. We kind of drifted and some things had happened and we just didn't come right after that. But one of my wonderful other best friends really stepped into that role and has been an amazing support to me this year. And she came and she stayed with me for about a week in her holiday break in July. So I got to show her a little bit around the city I'm living in for uni, and we did a little bit of shopping in between my classes. We cooked dinner. We just spent time together, and that was such a blessing of the year. I think that's something I've learned from this year, and I'm taking away each and every day, is being intentional about the time that I'm spending with my friends and my family. Being able to take time, even if it's just to comfortably coexist. You don't have to do stuff all the time, but maybe it's a card game, maybe it's sitting on the couch watching your favorite show, maybe it's going for a walk together, maybe it's cooking dinner together. There are so many ways we can slow down and actually meaningfully sorry, this is word mess for me, but hey, I'm being honest and we're being real, and that's what we're here for. There are so many ways we can meaningfully connect with our friends and family. So that was July. August was exciting. We were on the countdown. We had our last couple of assessments. One, not all-nighter pulled, but very late night, early wake up to complete an assessment. And so that was torture, but kind of fun because I did it with one of my friends. And then the rest of August was literally a countdown to placement. We were dying inside to go to placement. We wanted to more than anything. And it came up and we've learnt this stuff. At the start of the year, we looked at our uni, course year content and went, oh my gosh, there's no way we can learn this in 6 months before placement. And here we were, August rolled around, and we were about ready to head off to placement. We knew the things we had to know to get there. It's so crazy to me how much you really can learn in a short amount of time. And so off we went to placement in August. We went to our different centres, and I have never loved anything more. So that was really my August, September, October, November summary. Was lots and lots of placement hours. My favourite things about placement was learning that I needed to say yes to every and all opportunities, because there's no harm in me trying hard things. I got asked to do a couple of X-ray exams on patients that were either trauma patients or needed some adaptive technique, or would consider difficult patients for the type of injury or whatever they had, or their age, or any factor that it might have been, or specifically exams that we don't usually do in first year. And I got asked if I wanted to give them a go, and after that I'd said no the first time. I realised, well, why would I say no when I can say yes? Because saying yes doesn't mean I can't stop and ask for help. So for me, an important thing I learnt this year was it's okay to give things a go and stop partway, or ask for help, or work through it with somebody else. You don't have to make a no a complete yes, but it can be a learning yes. I don't know how to explain that. Also, my coffee mug has little cake photos all over it. It's very cute. I think this is my mum's one though. Sorry, Mum. What else? Then we had September, and I was truly blessed that two of my uni besties came down from their placement centres to celebrate my birthday with me. We had a cute little, sounds silly, we had a 9-year, because I turned 19, so we had a 9-year-old girl sleepover. So I had some party games. I did a pass the parcel. I did the chocolate game, if you've ever done it, where you're trying to roll a 6 or double sixes or whatever. and somebody you have to put on like a hat, a scarf, and some gloves, and chop the pieces of chocolate with knives and forks and whatever. So we did that. We had sparklers. We did a whole bunch of fun things, and then we had a sleepover together. So that was truly a blessing that I had them there. Plus, we had homemade pizzas for dinner, and that was delish. Really was a throwback to my childhood party games. Then, when I came back from uni, I started working once a week, twice a week, or whenever I could get in hours at my part-time job as well. So, was a very busy bee during that time. And then, what else have we got to note? Lots and lots of work. As we talked about in one of the previous episodes, I failed a test, and that was a very hard realization for me because I am a very self-driven person, and so when I don't meet my own expectations, I didn't know how to cope. And I'm learning that it's okay to not pass things the first time if there's another opportunity there, that is. Obviously, you want to pass the first time, but you're not always going to pass everything in life, and it's okay to be upset, and it's okay to take it as a learning opportunity, and it's all right to feel hurt by your own personal opinion of your failure, but it's not okay to not pick yourself back up and just keep going. The last couple of things that have been important for me this year are, unfortunately, we had a friend of ours and his older sister pass away in a car accident. And that was in December, and that was very painful for a lot of us. I wasn't crazily close with them, but he was my friend. But it was a tough time, and it's hard when people are hurting, and it's like he was my age. And the thing that I just can't get through my head is that life is so short, and it was just like taken from him. He didn't have a say. There was nothing else he could do. It was just there one moment and gone the next. And it made me really start thinking about my decisions and why do I put things off and put off living the life that I really want to live and my dream life because I need to do this before then, or I need to graduate before then, I need to be living on my own to do that. Why don't I start now? Because I could die tomorrow. And it's an awful thought, but it's a thought that's quite humbling and redirecting. So that's, I think, really my final thing to say that's happened this year. And I just want to continue to say the intentional time with family and friends continued through like the Christmas season. I tried to reduce my time spent on my phone, so I did things like word searches, and I've grown an obsession to word searches, so we can talk about that another day. But just doing things that actually gave me the ability to connect with not only myself, but my friends and family, and for me with God. So it's been good that I've learnt those things to do. Finally, I want to say that it's okay if all you did this year was survive. Regardless, I am proud of you because every year for the rest of our lives is going to be a roller coaster. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, there's going to be imperfect moments, there's going to be jolts where you're jolted back to reality and realize that you've done things wrong or you've hurt people. Because we're human. And hey, I'm still working on it. I'm still working on everything. And that's okay. Maybe, I hope this episode was a little bit healing for you to see there's little ways we grow throughout the time. There's so often, I did nothing this year is what I feel like I want to say. But in reality, there are so many little things that happened this year that have all shaped me, and successes that I've made, big and small, that have got me to right here. And for the first time in a long time, I can say I really like the person who's right here. I really like the person on the other side of this audio, on the other side of this video. I like where you are. I like who you are. And I hope you do too. So let's bring that energy into 2025. I am going to, hopefully next week, or sometime later this week if I feel in the mood, I will record and post an episode about preparing for 2025, talking about our goals, what we want to actually bring into it, and how we're going to do that, practical applications, and what my personal goals are for this year. I've made my little goal visiony board thing. And I've also got a little challenge that I mentioned briefly where I'm going to implement 12 new goals/habits, or break or make 12 habits in the 12 months of 2025. So one a month, which I think's achievable because it takes 21 days to implement a habit. Anyway, I think this is enough of me yapping about my year, but I hope you know that you did it, you made it, not long to go before it's 2025. And if it helps you to know, you can start fresh, or you can continue all the work you've put in. You are so deserving of love, light, and joy. So thank you that you're here, and I hope you have a great new year. All my love, Kate.